Hello, welcome to this video lecture. This is Tariqul Islam, Assistant Professor at Portugal Science and Technology University, Bangladesh. Today, I will discuss about environmental impact of wind energy. Though wind energy is more or less pollution-free from installation to production stage, it has some environmental impact also. The energy needed to produce and install the wind turbine, which has minimal environmental pollution. Further, wind turbine has some negative consequences on natural beauty, migratory bird, local ecosystem, local vegetation, and creating unwanted noise. Well, I will discuss one by one. Okay, first of all, positive impacts of wind energy. Basically, wind energy is considered as an ideal renewable energy because it is pollution free, it doesn't require fuel, it doesn't create greenhouse gas and ultimately climate change. It doesn't produce toxic or radioactive waste. Primarily, wind energy doesn't have natural like air or water pollution and also not to produce any kind of hazardous waste. Further, there are no need to use of fossil fuel that is beneficial for existing environment and global climate. Sometimes wind energy, especially in a windmill, the frequent number of wind turbine creates natural beauty that attract the tourist more. It helps environment by minimizing carbon dioxide production and water pollution. In suitable site, wind turbine can be a source of power with minimizing cost and also usable for marginal consumer. Okay, now the negative impacts of wind energy. Like every other energy technology, wind power plants do have some negative impacts on environment. The negative impact of wind energy is impact on wildlife, impact on vegetation coverage, impact on natural scenario, impact on local ecology and ecosystem, impact on human hearing, impact on local weather and climate, impact on domestic animal, interference with TV transmission signal. Okay, now I will discuss one by one. First one is impact on wildlife, especially on flora and fauna. The direct impact is the mortality from collision with wind turbine, while the indirect impacts are avoidance, habitat disruption, and displacement. Generally, wind power disturbs the natural movement of the birds. Birds' habitat are threatened. The breeding and feeding activities of birds in the spot area are disturbed largely. Bats and raptors, fatality and mortality are another phenomenon for installation of wind turbine. During the installation phase, avian mortality is a common case. Factors related to avian mortality is impact of lighting, impact of weather, tower design, height of flight, or other so. Seabeds sometimes become more hazardous and discomfort zone for local seagrass or fish species. Okay, next one is impact on vegetation coverage. As we know, when surface plants are removed for land preparation or grazing, topsoil will be exposed for rainwater and soil erosion occur. Vegetation clearing has great influence for local weather and also ground disturbance occurred which resulted in habitat loss of soil organism. Regional and local landscape beauty may be hampered. Proper land use planning and zoning need to be executed for minimizing the impact. Okay, next one is impact on natural scenario. It's mainly visual impact. Characteristics of wind turbine like size, height, number, material or color and continuous rotation makes visual impacts. Shadow flicker, a movement of turbine in sunshine have some impact on local people, but it depends on distance of the turbine, color, contrast, number and attitude of the people to in turbine. Number of blade in turbine is another criteria. Most of the case, 3 blades is more acceptable than 2 blades. Turbine rotation in counterclockwise make negative sense of visual impacts. Color contrast is another issue for visual impacts. Generally, designer tries to set out the color and contrast of the turbine blade with adjustment of visual sense by using GIS technology. Okay, Then come to the next point, impact on local ecology and ecosystem. Wind energy disturbs the ecosystem mainly in two ways. First one is ecosystem structure and functioning through direct impact on individual organism and through impact on habitat structure and functioning. For construction of windmill, a large amount of land is required, and when the land has been cleared, the topsoil eroded that reduces soil ecological balance. During construction phase, heavy weight machinery induced noise create hamper for local fauna, especially birds, rat, bat, or like so. In every case, the ecological needs of a selective species get endangered due to construction of windmill. Okay, next one is impact on human hearing. This is basically noise pollution. The most critical environmental impact of wind turbine is the noise pollution. Noise, compared to other impacts, can be measured and predicted easily. Noise from wind turbines arise mainly from two sources. First one is mechanical noise caused by the gearbox and generator, and aerodynamics noise caused by the interaction of the turbine blade with the wind. It can be severe trouble for human living or working near the wind power plant. Sleep disorder, anxiety, hearing loss sometimes become annoyed in every time. In order to minimize the noise related impact, construction sites should be away from the residential area, at least 2 kilometer radius. So for installation of wind energy site, the baseline study will be conducted at every level considering the unwanted sound. Okay, the next point is impact on local weather and climate. Wind energy has great influence on local weather and climate, especially increasing temperature by rotating blade. Database from a research found that 2358 turbine can increase 0.724 degrees Celsius of temperature in an area. Environmental lapse rate occurs for cooling and heating of adjacent air for rotating blade in wind turbine. Vertical air mixture near the ground surface increase the probability of thunderstorm development. Then, impact on domestic animal, especially in decreasing rangeland. For construction of wind energy sites, a large amount of grazing land may be reclaimed and shortage of domestic animal grazing site. In other case, the shadow of rotating blade hinders for growing grass in the adjacent field that also reduce the grazing land. Okay, last point is interference with TV transmission signal. Although the electromagnetic field of a wind turbine itself is extremely weak and is confined in a small range, it can still create electromagnetic interference. This interference can induce ghosting effect, which is also known as video distortion, which are pale shadow on television screen. Interference also occur error in navigation and modulation in typical microwaves. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.